Hey guys, welcome to Smack Talk Wrestling Reviews. I am your host, Boise, and it's a massive episode of Raw we've got. I mean, there's some huge news coming out. We have a massive announcement, and it's certain somebody's birthday. Woo! That's right, it's the Nature Boy's birthday. So, let's get on with it. Let's hit the music. Let's enjoy. This is Raw. So we kicked off the show with none other than the big dog himself, Roman Reigns. That's right, Roman is back on Raw. It's the first time since October when he had to relinquish the belt after announcing his fight with leukemia, and it was a hell of an entrance for Roman Reigns. I couldn't believe I had the volume down. I started watching Raw this morning about 6 o'clock this morning, and I am not joking. You could still hear the crowds, and I had the volume on quite low, and my God, what a reception. I am so proud of the WWE Universe. Even got people who don't like Roman, you could tell they were cheering for him returning in some way. Just being on TV, that's the big thing all the fans were excited about. It's the road to WrestleMania. Roman Reigns is coming out. He has a huge announcement. It was this really heartfelt moment where he goes and sees his family. His mum's there. He gives her just like this massive hug, and I was like, I'm not crying. You're crying. Moment. It's quite funny because you see him holding his mom, and the Rock's mom is there, and she's there taking these pictures and everything. I'm just thinking, is she sending those to Dwayne? I hope she is. I hope he is getting these photos, and he just says thank you to the WWE Universe, to the management, to the universe, to everyone, people who don't even watch wrestling, who are just passing on their good vibrations, all their good thoughts and prayers towards Roman. And he said, God's answering machine must have been hell of a full, because you guys just constantly prayed for me, and it was a big deal. And he goes, look, there's a reason I'm out here, and I have a huge announcement, and that is none other than his leukemia is in remission. That is huge bloody news. Roman it sounds like obviously it's going to take a bit more time for him to fully recover, but what a way to kick off Raw. Big announcement. He's in remission. He'll be returning to Raw, I'm guessing, at some point. But so happy for Roman Reigns. I can't believe. I was really like, oh man, that's the best news to wake up to. That, for us over here in the UK, you kind of get all the news spoiled straight away. You wake up and like everything's on Twitter, Facebook, everything. And it was kind of one of those times I was like, I don't mind that news being spoiled for me, because I'm glad someone like that is, like Roman is healthy. I'm so happy for him. So what I'm going to have to mark this. I'm going to give this an opening score. And surprise, it's going to get a 5 out of 5. It's an, touching moment. Roman got the same kind of score when he announced he had to go away with his illness, and now he's back. It's just such good news. Yeah, so like I said, 5 out of 5. Really happy for Roman. Super start to the show, isn't it? So happy. Next up, we had the Revival taking on 2 other NXT superstars. This time they were taking on Ricochet and Aleister Black. Again, I was a little bit surprised, obviously, SmackDown, that they have announced that Ricochet, Aleister Black, Ciampa and Gargano are all going to be on SmackDown. I just wasn't expecting Ricochet and Aleister Black to be on Raw this week. So when this match was going on, I was like, Aleister Black's on Raw again. Okay, well, I'm guessing he's moving on to the main roster very soon, because he's getting more and more involved into matches on Raw. So that's cool. I'm happy with that. And I was like, hold on, who they're taking on again? The Revival. Alright, so our current Raw Tag Team Champions. Well, I can see where this was gonna go. So yeah, it was great to have Aleister Black and Ricochet on TV again, because I'm a huge fan of their work in NXT. But I'm not gonna lie, guys, I was a bit annoyed that it was the Revival again having to have these matches with the new talent coming up from NXT, because they want them to look good and they're not going to lose on this type of match. And what happened? Revival lost. You know, the current Raw Tag Team Champions, who have been pinned twice now in the last 2 weeks, which is, let's be honest, it's lowering down the prestige of a belt, even though the Raw Tag Team belts are absolutely, let's be honest, the most worthless belts on all the main roster right now. Even the US title belt, which, you know, Shinsuke Nakamura never even defended. Now R-Truth's got it and he's never on TV. But even the US title belt has more prestige than the Raw Tag Team belts, and that is just a shame, and it's a crime, because the Revival are one of the best tag teams in the world. And it's like, what are the creative doing here? Why are they making the Revival lose these type of matches? Why are they putting them in these type of matches? They should be having proper matches. Don't get me wrong, the match was still great. Aleister Black and Ricochet were fantastic yet again, but I expect that from them. I just expect, you know, WWE to try and protect their champions once in a while. So what am I going to give a score? Well, seeing as it was good to see Aleister Black and Ricochet on TV, which was a nice surprise, but seeing as they were taking on the Revival, and the Revival pretty much were jobbers in this match yet again, I'm going to give it only a 2.5. The Aleister Black and Ricochet are just absolutely fantastic in the ring. Everything else kind of ruined the score. So Aleister Black and Ricochet really got those 2.5 marks for them. They did really well to do that. Next up, we had another tag team match, and this time it was Ronda Rousey and Natalya taking on Sarah Logan and Ruby Riott. So the Riott Squad, in other words. Not really particularly interested in the match. Ruby Riott did really well against Ronda Rousey. You can tell she's kind of got her, kind of started to get understanding her way of fighting in the ring. But again, it was one of those matches going, it's the Riott Squad. Well, they're going to lose because it's Ronda Rousey. So, what did I see? The Riott Squad lose to Ronda Rousey. It was kind of like, right, yeah, I kind of expected this. The match ended in disqualification. Natalya, she was dragged out by Liv Morgan and Ruby Riott. And then Becky Lynch, the man herself, probably the best bit about this whole segment, came out. It's all part of this match. She came out, she attacked Natalya, she didn't give a damn. Ronda Rousey came across real, like, you hit my man, you hit my man. Came across, they started trading blows to each other. Security, backstage officials, police, all dragging both women away. Becky Lynch was warned if she turned up, she did anything like this, she would be arrested. And of course, in WWE style, just like Stone Cold Steve Austin, like Roman Reigns, like so many other, you know, huge characters, they will get arrested and there will be no charges, no anything. And she'll be there in a few weeks' time and she'll probably take on Ronda Rousey at some point. She gets dragged away. Ronda Rousey is absolutely fuming at this point. She calls out Vince McMahon. She is sick and bloody tired of Becky Lynch coming to Raw, disrupting her matches, attacking people. She is sick and tired of it. She calls out Vince McMahon and he doesn't come out. Stephanie McMahon comes out instead. And Ronda goes, look, put Becky in the bloody match. She's disrupting, just give her what she wants and then give us the main event match you all know we all want. Becky, Charlotte, Ronda. Main event at WrestleMania, which, let's be honest, I wouldn't mind seeing. Out of all the matches which could possibly main event WrestleMania, that's gotta be the last match of the night in my opinion right now. It's still the hottest feud. It's kind of sizzled down a little bit this night with everything else which has happened, especially the Roman Reigns news, which was like the biggest news. If that wasn't going to be the big news, I think that this would have been one of the bigger talking points, but because there was so much on this week's Raw, this kind of got swept under in my opinion. But yes, Stephanie's like, nope, it's not going to happen. And Ronda goes, you know, this belt, it means nothing if you do not respect the person holding it. So if you don't respect me, you don't respect the belt means nothing. And she just leaves it in the middle of the ring and walks away. What does this mean for Ronda Rousey, Becky Lynch and Charlotte Flair for WrestleMania? Well, we'll have to keep up, and we'll give you that in the next reviews coming up towards WrestleMania. But let's be honest, we all know it's going to be Charlotte Flair, Ronda Rousey and Becky Lynch at WrestleMania. I'm going to give this a 3 out of 5 stars. Becky Lynch's segment as part of the match was absolutely perfect. She came in, she ended the match in DQ, giving the Riott Squad the victory, surprise, surprise, over Ronda Rousey. So Ronda's lost 2 tag team matches now, technically. Oh no, sorry, no, the Riott Squad got disqualified because she hit Natalya, that's right, sorry. Natalya got hit. So no, Ronda Rousey has only lost 1 tag team match. But yes, 3 out of 5, really good segment. Becky Lynch really saving the match because the match was above average. Next up we have that generic type of match where a heel comes out that is an absolute jobber. Insert Jinder Mahal here. Then we had him going, who cares about Ric Flair's birthday? We're going to cancel it and we're just going to celebrate Jinder Mahal instead. Out comes a legend or a superstar or a big babyface. In this case we had all 3. It is none other than Kurt Angle. He comes out, the crowd are cheering. He squashes Jinder Mahal, Sameer Singh and just absolutely walks away. The match was absolutely... that was it. He got Jinder to tap out to the ankle lock, and again, like I said, it was really one of those kind of, did we need this match? Did we really need the typical heel coming out doing this segment and a babyface coming to defend the honor? It's kind of cheesy, generic WWE, but it's just one of those ones where if it was anyone else who was a babyface, I probably wouldn't have cared as much, but because we had that almost Kurt Angle retirement speech a few weeks ago, it kind of damages that. Like, we could have had a story where Kurt was going to go to WrestleMania, career versus something match, and we could have that type of storyline going in, but no, it kind of dismays anything like that which will happen, and it just shows you that WWE just wanted to have a segment where a feel good moment, which really does mean it's just like nothing. It's a nothing segment. So I'm going to give this a 2 out of 5 stars, mainly because Kurt Angle, I still am a massive Kurt Angle fan. I don't care. He's kind of cool to watch still. Next up, we had a Intercontinental Championship match. This is Finn Balor versus Lio Rush. Let's get started straight away. How did this all start? Well, first things first, we had a moment of bliss where Alexa Bliss was interviewing the new Intercontinental Champion, none other than Finn Balor, and she says, Finn, you look great, but one thing which is a shame about you being the new Intercontinental Champion, that belt just hides your abs, and if you show me your abs, I'll show. And then Lio Rush interrupts, and you can hear Corey goes, "Ah, you son of a..." Lio Rush goes, look, you don't deserve to be champion, it should be Bobby Lashley. And I like this little bit. I like this because Finn goes, hold on, you coming out here because you want a shot at the Intercontinental Champion? He goes, no, I'm going to win the title off you and I'm going to give it back to Bobby. And it's like, hold on, but you're not you want that shot. You want to prove that you're better than Bobby. And Leo's like, no, don't twist my words. I didn't say that. He goes, fine, let's have a match for the Intercontinental Championship. Lio Rush versus Finn Balor. And I am going to give so much credit for Lio Rush. I wasn't surprised because I think Lio Rush is a fantastic talent. He's very, very talented. But it's just one of those things like you kind of get because he is the mouthpiece more like for Bobby Lashley. That he is a fantastic wrestler. If you watch his stuff on 205, he is really, really good. He's just got an attitude. when he first signed for the company, we all saw that with Emma leaving, he had that bit. But it's nice to see that that's kind of past him, he's kind of matured a lot, and it seems like he's really good at in works with Finn Balor. I think Finn actually enjoyed this match. You could tell this was definitely, for me, as a wrestling fan, that this was the best match of the night. And I have no complaints to that. There were really good segments throughout the show on Raw, but the best match of the night was definitely Lio Rush versus Finn Balor. There was so much storytelling in the match. Finn Balor's selling was bloody brilliant. It's an art he's selling, and if you do it right, like Finn did in this episode of Raw, he did it fantastically. Every time he was pulling something off, he sold it. He made it feel like, this something big, his knee's still injured. When he tried to pull off big moves, that leg was the focus point. That was the bit we all looked at and going, he's really focusing on that leg, and that's great. That's really great. So Lio Rush was brilliant working working the leg. His high flying skills. I am a huge fan for high flies. I do. I think if a wrestler is fantastic grappling but can do absolutely amazing stuff in the air, why not promote that? And that's what Lio Rush is. He's good in ring, in the air. He can do quite a lot. For a guy with that much potential, I would love to see him hold a title at some point. But yeah, that's my praise for Lio Rush and Finn Balor. Fantastic bloody match. Finn did get the victory as well. I'm going to give this a 3. You know what? I'm going to give this a 3.3. Yeah, 3. I was going to give it a 3.5, but it's not that good of a match. It's really good. It's the best match of the night, but it's not a world-class match. So yeah, 3 out of 5. Next up, after this match, we had Braun Strowman versus Bobby Lashley. Lio Rush also came out with Bobby. They were first out. Then Braun Strowman comes out and Bobby Lashley attacks Braun Strowman. It looks like Bobby Lashley is going to dominate Braun Strowman, but obviously that didn't happen. Braun pretty much destroys Bobby Lashley and Lio Rush in this segment. It's a very, very much like car crash. Two big guys colliding into each other. The match never started. It ended before it didn't even start. It just got called off. The referee went, nope, not getting involved. Bye. And that was about it. So I'm really going to give this more like I think I'm going to give this a 2.5, because they're building up to a story. You can see that, and I don't mind that. When sometimes you don't have a match, but you have this like collision between two wrestlers, that's fine. As long as it's building up to a story, I'm happy with that. And I think that's what they're doing. I think they're building up to Bobby Lashley versus Braun Strowman at Fastlane, which I don't mind. If that's how it's going to go, fine, just do it. It'll be a good match to watch. If not, and it's just one of those matches where they've just kind of like, we've got an idea, but we don't know how, to protect both men. I know, let's just have a no contest. Then it is going to be disappointing. But I'm hoping we do get a Braun Strowman, Bobby Lashley pay-per-view match, just so we can get it over and done with, and then we can get past this feud. Because let's be honest, who cares really about Bobby Lashley versus Braun Strowman? It'll be great to watch two big men collide, but it won't be the best match in the world. We all know this. So for me, I'm going to give it a 2.5. Mainly because the potential of a pay-per-view match is in the works if they do it right. Next up, we had Drew McIntyre versus Dean Ambrose. Now, before this match even started, we had Elias earlier on the show. He was about to play. He got interrupted by Lacey Evans, who does that stupid walk back up to the top of the stage. It's like, well, that's a waste of time. And then Elias tried to play again, and he was interrupted by the lunatic himself, Dean Ambrose. Ambrose comes out and goes, look, I am sick and tired. I want a rematch against Drew McIntyre, but this time a non-DQ match. And he goes in, he talks to Elias, goes, look Elias, I like you, I really like your music, do you know Dirty Deeds? And everyone's laughing and everything. Elias tries to go for him before Dean does anything. Dean captures him, puts him in Dirty Deeds. There we go. I wonder what could happen later on in the Drew McIntyre versus Dean Ambrose match, which is a non-DQ match. Yeah, it was a hard-hitting match. It was probably one of the best interactions between Drew and Dean. Fans were very much supporting Dean Ambrose for it. I don't know if Dean's officially gone back to being a babyface. I hope that is the case because, let's be honest, we all prefer Dean to be a babyface than a heel. We've seen it. It doesn't work right now. I think that's more creative. I think if they let Dean be himself and let him be the psychotic heel he wanted to be, it could be really entertaining. But seeing as creative, I'm going to go, nah, we're not doing that, mate. This is the kind of thing where he has to turn back to being babyface because it works more easily for him. But yes, the match was actually really entertaining. Both men really used very little weapons in a non-DQ match. I was expecting chairs, kendo sticks, tables, but no, we didn't get much of that. We got the steel chairs involved at near the end, but it was more that Dean had 2 belts on and he used the second belt to whip each other. Both Drew got the belt off Dean first and he started using it on Dean. Dean got momentum back on it for himself, started whipping Drew McIntyre. It looked like Dean was going to finish it off with dirty deeds onto the steel chairs, but Elias, surprise, came out of nowhere with his guitar, smashes it behind Dean Ambrose's back, and then Baron Corbin and Bobby Lashley all come out. Drew McIntyre does pin Dean before that. All the rest of the bad guys come out, they all beat the crap out of him. Elias even gets invited to join in the beat up. And next thing we know, Seth Rollins and Roman Reigns come out. Roman gets a huge pop in this point. Really huge point for that. They clear out everyone. Elias, Baron Corbin, Bobby Lashley, Drew McIntyre. Roman even cuts there's tons of Superman punches, which you haven't seen them since October, so it's been a good few months now. And you go, damn, Roman's really good at that. I mean, spear to Drew McIntyre. Seth uses the stomp. Dean's in the corner, absolutely knocked out. Roman and Seth walk up to the top of the stage to look down at Dean. Dean's like, looking at his friends and he's nodding, and you can see Roman going, he can become good again. I'm sure of it. But yeah, I really like the segments. The seeds. I like the seeds. WrestleMania seeds. Come on, guys. If we're not gonna get Braun Strowman versus Bobby Lashley, give me the bloody sheer. Right, you can have Bobby Lashley versus Braun Strowman. Fastlane. Seth Rollins, Dean Ambrose, Roman Reigns, Baron Corbin, Drew McIntyre and Elias. There you go. Elias was in that segment. Put him in that match. Have a 3-man tag team match. Shield reunion. Have a Shield reunion at WrestleMania. Everyone would cheer when Seth takes the Universal title from Brock Lesnar, and we all could cry because Dean's going away, and it could be his last time. I don't know. I still think it's a bloody work. I'm hoping this is a true market. I think it's a work. I'm hoping it's a work. Dean's not going to leave me. That is what's going in my head. That's how much of a mark I am right now with this, guys. So yes, Dean. It's all seats. I love the bits like that. So I'm going to give it a 3.5 out of 5. Really enjoyed this. Next up, we had pretty much a interesting match. We had Nia Jax versus Bayley. It's already been announced beforehand that Nia Jax and Tamina will challenge the first ever women's tag team champions of Bayley and Sasha Banks at Fastlane for the titles. But yes, Nia Jax and Bayley have absolute great chemistry. I noticed this when they had their NXT run against each other, when Nia challenged Bayley after Bayley had just lost the NXT Women's title. This was a very much, green Nia Jax, and now that's a few years later. Nia's now being a women's champion just like Bayley. Both women, you can see how much Nia Jax has improved, and the chemistry between both women from that match, which they did have chemistry, and it showed, to this match where they do have a lot better chemistry. Nia's a lot more seasoned in the ring. Bayley is just, she can work anyone. She's one of the best women's workers in the bloody company, and this match was a showcase of that for me. So yeah, Sasha Banks tried to get involved. Nia Jax didn't appreciate it. Tamina also tried to get involved. It was one of those matches where people tried to get involved. You know, the two tag team partners. Bayley did get the victory, which is fine. Not sure how that's going to go towards Fastlane, but we'll have to wait and see. I'm sure we'll see Tamina versus Sasha Banks next week, because that's how you book tag team matches before a massive tag team defense. So we'll have to wait and see. But for me personally, I felt this was great. I think it was a short match. It had really good chemistry between two really good wrestlers who I think, well, one really good wrestler, one wrestler who's getting better and better each week. So for me, I'm going to give it a 3 out of 5. I know that's a very high score for a lot of people for a Nia Jax match. But like I said, Bayley is a great worker. She can help. She can work with anyone in the ring and make them look like a superstar, in my opinion. So yeah, 3 out of 5. No complaints from me. Last but not least, we had the Nature Boy Ric Flair's 70th birthday celebrations. This was bloody brilliant. We had a really heartfelt, great opening to the show with Roman Reigns announcing that he's in remission, which is great. And then this just stalled the show for just a pure segment-wise, pure entertainment-wise. You had Legends All Night arriving to the show, getting interviewed and everything like that. And then yet at this part you had Stephanie McMahon and Triple H hosting it. Now it's always interesting. I always find this really interesting as fans, because sometimes you'll see on nights where Triple H and Stephanie turn between heel and face, heel and face. This segment in particular, they were babyface, so remember that. They have some of the current superstars at the top to greet the legends who are coming out to the ring to celebrate Ric Flair's birthday with him. First one who comes out is none other Shawn Michaels, which was great. Shawn Michaels and Ric Flair had that amazing WrestleMania match where it was career. It was Ric Flair's career match, end of career match, and we saw Shawn mumble, "I'm sorry, I love you," and it's still to this day one of the most touching, brilliant WrestleMania moments of all time. And then sometimes you think about it like, oh man, I'm choking up a little. Like, people forget how easily fans can get in depth into these matches, and even I can I still think that is one of the best ways to end a match in my time as a fan. Then we had none other than Ricky the Dragon Steamboat come out. Him and Ric Flair had an absolutely legendary rivalry during WCW for the title. Those two fought back and forth between each other, and they had some absolutely brilliant matches. We also had Kurt Angle come out, who also competed. Ric Flair and Kurt Angle, they've had their ups and downs over the years in WWE, TNA. It was great that Kurt was there. And then obviously we had the icon himself, Sting. It was good. Again, one of Ric Flair's most biggest rivalries of all time during his WCW run. And let's be honest, you think of the icon, you think of Sting versus Flair. For me, it's one of those legendary matches. It's also one of the, you think of those two going out, and I also think of WCW Nitro, the last night Nitro was on, and it was Ric Flair versus Sting in the last match of that show. That's a way to end the show. That was a fantastic match as well. That was a really good match. Check it out on the network, trust me, it's really good. And they're all celebrating. They unveil a amazing Ric Flair custom heavyweight championship. So it's got Ric Flair's plate on, but on the side, the side plates, they've engraved his championship runs, and I thought, oh, that is such a beautiful, that's a really nice touch. I mean, you look at I think a lot of fans looked at that heavyweight championship belt and went, can we just have that instead of the Universal belt? Because that belt still looks better than the Universal belt. Then obviously they call Rick to the stage, his music plays, everyone's clapping. I mean, you just see the superstars like, where is he? Where's Rick? And nothing. Then you see a backstage bit where there's a man dragging a cameraman, and who is it? None other than Batista. It's like, oh, what's Batista doing? going into Ric Flair, and he's dragging us, and he goes into Ric Flair's changing rooms, beats the crap. You can hear a massive thud. I mean, you just see Batista dragging Ric Flair's body, and he goes, "Have I got your attention now, Hunter?" Oh, he just screams at the cameraman. He's just like, what has just happened? And then Triple H just gets out of the ring, runs backstage, runs to Ric Flair. Ric Flair's out cold, and you just go, damn. And that's the end of the episode. That's how it ends. It's a bit of a shock. I did not expect Batista to come. If he's coming back to the company for a short time period towards WrestleMania against Triple H, yes, let Batista be the heel. That will be a fantastic story. Batista, oh god, great surprise story right there. And 2, attacking Ric Flair. There's always been a kind of always pivotal points in Batista where he's always stated that Ric Flair is being like a father to him. Even when he was feuding with Triple H for the heavyweight title back in the day, he did take Ric Flair out a few times, but it was more like he never really, purposely went for Ric Flair. He respected Ric Flair. This segment, that's all gone. That respect towards Ric Flair is gone, and the animal is going for Hunter. I can't wait. WrestleMania seeds, guys. Love it. I love it. What am I going to give it? It's got a 5 out of 5. There you go. Brilliant end to the show. Loved it. Absolutely fantastic. And there you go, guys. That was Raw for this week. What did I think? Bloody brilliant show, wasn't it? Just fantastic. I loved every second. The big points, the big talking points. Roman Reigns in remission. Brilliant. Becky Lynch, Ronda Rousey storyline. Absolutely, that is building up. That for everything else which happened tonight, that's got to be the most. That had to go under the radar for a lot of people, because they will talk about Batista and Roman, but there will be a very few fans who will pay much attention to that right now. But then in a few weeks' time, they'll go, that's a big statement. So I think they could have damaged itself because there was so much going on in the show it's still building on that feud. Really happy with that. I mean, Batista coming back, not just coming back, but attacking Ric Flair on his birthday, calling out Hunter. Cannot wait. I cannot wait. Triple H versus Batista at WrestleMania. That is going to be a hell of a match. Triple H is going to win it, isn't it? Batista said it. You've never beaten me. You've never beaten me. Oh god. It's going to happen now, isn't it? It's going to happen at WrestleMania. It's going to be that really annoying match. But yeah, I think Lio Rush and Finn Balor had the match of the night. I think Jinder Mahal, what was the point of that between Kurt Angle? The Riott Squad versus Natalya and Ronda Rousey. Again, a match you didn't really need, but it really did help with the Becky Lynch bit. So that's kind of like, yeah, I'll take that for that. That's quite. But there was quite, like, the matches themselves, like, there was so many meh matches, but the big segment parts were really big. So, no massive complaints. I'm going to give this week's episode a 3.5. Because I think it was a really good show. SmackDown's going to have to do a hell of a lot to beat Raw this week. But what was your favourite part of this week's episode of Raw? Leave it in the comments below, guys. If you do like our videos, don't forget to like, subscribe and press the bell to keep notified. And if you want to follow us on the old Twitter, it's at Smack Talk YouTube. And if you want to follow me on the old Twitter, it's at Boise88. And I'll see you guys next time on Smack Talk Wrestling Reviews.